First of all, hello. First of all, I love you. First of all, Molly here, fiercely devoted to your freedom. Love, love, love you. Talked a lot in the love letter today about this idea of control, and if ever there was a time that we recognize how out of control we are, it might be COVID. And, from a spiritual standpoint, who says we ever were in control? I mean, arguably we had, as much control in February as we do today. We're just kind of acutely aware of how much control we don't have. Another story for another time. But something I'm seeing in the Facebook group and I'm seeing it in my practice is this wanting to control, right? And especially when it comes to our relationship with food and our relationship with weight and our relationship with body. And what ends up happening, and this happens all the time, and I want to talk about it on a larger level, but tonight I'll talk about it on this kind of on the love letters topic, which is in this great desire to control, we are moving towards something that I'm gonna beg and plead of you to stop doing, which is we're moving to the scale. And I'm a rare bird, right? Because I am someone who's an eating disorder person, and I'm not really a health at any size person, right? By any means. I believe it is your God-given right that if you are not at a healthy body weight, that you deserve to be at a healthy body weight. I'm not of this, I think it's really hard to love your body, when you're not doing loving things to your body. And I think when we stop doing harmful things to our body, we release that weight. Now, we have that scale as just a barometer, you know what I mean? It's just a little temperature check, you know what I mean? Because, oh my goodness, my loves, does your relationship with food come with so many blind spots? Do you know what I'm saying? And I know this from my own story. I mean, I know mostly everything from my own story. And my own story being I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, I was oh my God, I'm in so much body image. Oh my God, my body feels so heavy. And then it was time for me to do my monthly weigh-in, and it wasn't body image. I had put on, 4 pounds. By the way, how did I do it? Bites, licks, and tastes, sort of pretend abstinent foods, right? Pretend no sugar, no flour foods like potato chips. And we can get out of integrity with ourselves. Our North Star can be go to the east so quickly or go to the west so quickly, and we can be, sort of on a skewed path so simply. And I write this so clearly in Breaking Up with Sugar, but if you're anything like me, it's pretty easy to skip over that. But the scale is meant for us to understand and to stay out of our blind spots and just to ensure that it's moving in the right direction. And what happens when we feel anxious, right? And we feel, unrooted, we turn to the scale. I say it with that face because it's just, when you say it out loud, one of those things that you say it out loud, this is so crazy. We turn to the scale for security and to feel better about ourselves and things that just don't work. I'm going to tell you something. The fascinating thing about the food and weight stuff, and I was writing this in the love letter, it's when we turn to the scale for solace, for comfort, for security, I will say 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5 times out of 10, that leads to a binge. And I'm right. And I'm right. Or maybe even worse than that, you see a number go lower and then you have this false sense of security that usually leads to the popcorn, leads to the potato chips. You have to put the scale in the rightful place for a lot of reasons, my love, but mostly because when not used responsibly, it's not loving. And as we were talking about, I think last Sunday when we were talking about rituals, it's the scale, I'm going to say it in a way that, and then I'll kind of walk around it with you, but the scale is a terrible God. The scale is a terrible God. And what ends up happening, we were talking about this last week with when we pray to sugar and food, right, as our guiding principle, that is a small, unreliable, very sad guiding principle is what you weigh. Now, I want to say dialectically, right, in the same sentence, I'm saying it's important to weigh yourself. It's important to assure that you're going into a healthy body range. If that's what's important to you, count me in. I've been 325 pounds And I'm telling you, the things I had to do to stay at that weight were not loving, and you have every right to release that weight. But getting into an unhealthy relationship with that scale, especially when you're going to the scale to seek comfort, to seek security, there are better things to do. There are better things to do. And one of my favorite phrases I ever heard, right, is when we focus on the scale, we lose the relationship, right? You're not looking for the kind of, like, you're not looking for a relationship of like big highs and big lows, which is all the scale does when you're in an unhealthy relationship with it, right? We're looking for this, I think you are, I don't know what your core values are, but usually this loving, secure, right, peaceful relationship with food, that the scale is there to sort of help us make sure that we're doing that. And so the scale is in like the back seat, maybe even in the trunk, and so often we have it in the front seat. The scale is a terrible god, is all I can say over and over. Your guiding principle cannot be that. And so we talk about NSVs, but Lisa, I want to say, Lisa's saying bye-bye scale. I don't agree with that, okay? So I really want to make that clear. I don't agree bye-bye scale. I agree finding a healthy and loving relationship with the scale that ensures that you're moving closer to your overall goals. What happens when you think you're doing everything right and the scale isn't moving? I'm asking for a friend. Well, it's a great question, Sharon. The answer is going to be in the vows of the book. And I hate to say this, side note, the answer is going to be in weighing and measuring. And the answer for many women will be in switching out carbs for fat. And that's why in the book we have a lot of different kinds of meal plans. And you can DM me about that. I'm happy to talk to you about it. But usually, you know, that's what we say at Beacon, right? It's like the first 20 or 30 pounds like is given to you, and then it's time to really take a deeper dive into the food. Now, that being said, you know, I'm also not a proponent of us being like these ripped skinny minis. And so there may be a weight, you know, like I don't know how much weight you have to lose, Sharon, but you know, it may be that like what you think you need to weigh and what your body thinks you need to weigh is like a 20-pound, you know, differential, and your body just may be happier at this weight. And what it takes to do what it takes to get to the weight you think you should be at, like really may not be in alignment with your values, right? So yes, so in the book we talk about so Zach is asking is, when is it the best to weigh yourself? When is it the best to weigh yourself is like this. Whatever your wisdom tells you. But then you stick to it. So I do it once a month, right? But that means if I'm having a day where I'm feeling like really skinny, whatever that means, or I'm having a day where I'm feeling really fat, I don't get to do it another day. So the point is that you're true to your word. I'm telling you. Personal integrity is everything. If you've lost your personal integrity, which means somebody over Crystal saying I do it 2 times a month, that means you do it on the 1st and the 15th, like it says in the book. And then you don't do it on the 12th because you're feeling weird. And you don't do it on the 27th because you're really feeling skinny in your body. That gives the scale all the power. Hear me, hear me, hear me. It's a terrible God. It is a terrible driving force. But it's meant for us to stay true to our goals. And so what we end up doing instead of this, right? Focus on the weight, lose the recovery. Focus on the recovery, lose the weight. And so what we end up doing is then we have our decision around the scale in this beautiful little box. Done, check, once a month, first of the month, set it, forget it, as they say, right? And then we move into focusing on the recovery, which means that we start to create NSVs. Non-scale victories. We talk about this a lot in the Facebook group. I think we should start Miracle Monday again tomorrow. We should start NSVs tomorrow morning. Non-scale victories are, what are the other benefits of this? Because the thing is, like, I'm going to tell you, like, I don't have any more weight to lose. Like, so it's like, what am I going to do? I don't have an obsessive relationship with the scale because the number doesn't move, 0.5, whatever. It's like, then what's the point? Then it's just a fling. Then you're on a diet. Then you're going to get to the destination and you're going to burn it up again. Like, we have to get out of these sabotaging ways, my loves. It's got to go. New relationship, who dis. A new relationship talks about the NSVs. It talks about the non-scale victories, right? How different are your relationships in your life? How amazing does it feel to wake up in the morning having not binged, right? How much more willing are you to take risks in life? I'm like more hopeful about things. I think clearer. I'm willing to do things like pray. I mean, I'm willing to do all sorts of things. I have better conversations with people. I'm more present. I mean, I could go on this list all day, all day, all day, right? And so focus, in my opinion, if you get in this healthy relationship with the scale where you just make this one decision on it, there are some people too, like that we even treat at Beacon where where we do it with them. I mean, at Beacon, we blind weigh a lot of people, but getting into this, defined relationship with the scale and with weight, whatever it means to you, allows for you to go and focus on your relationship. And that's where the lasting change lives. The thing about me that's different than other people is also like I'm a long-term relationship gal. That's what I'm selling here. That's what I'm coaching you towards. That's what I'm rooting you on for. I'm not rooting you on for like a quick weight loss. Like a lot of you have done that a lot of times and have ended up, I know for me, like the only thing worse than being morbidly obese was gaining my weight back to be morbidly obese again, right? That kind of shame and demoralization. That's what we're trying to end. And you do that via non-scale victories. You do that via creating a new relationship with food and a new relationship with yourself. And that has nothing to do with the weight. It has a lot to do with the food, but it doesn't have a lot to do with the weight. It has a lot to do with creating an easy, fluid, peaceful relationship where if a tire gets a nail in it, you go get it fixed really, really quickly. Those are the lasting behaviors. Like we can figure, like you're saying, Sharon, we can figure out what the concoction of what's making the scale stale. That's a solvable problem. We're getting hyper focused on that and getting back into that self-harm, needing to control, valuing yourself in a number, it's not budging, all that BS, like that's gotta go. Because that brings you farther and farther and farther away from your ultimate goals. So I'm saying really two things at once. I'm really, really, really not saying that you shouldn't get on a scale. I mean, I actually really don't believe that. If you have weight to lose, you got to have your eye on it at least once a month. You got to know what direction you're moving, right? It can get delusional really quickly. I have more stories about the delusion of obesity than many. I mean, my stories are insane. As I look upon them, and it was just for me to cope. But I'm saying once you decide that's the decision has been made, then it's about building this new relationship like your life depends upon it, because it does. The new life is waiting for you. I have a really good friend who stopped drinking, and she was in rehab when she stopped drinking. And she, when she was in rehab, they said to her, look to your left and look to your right, because in the three of you, only one of you is going to make it. And my friend Pam did this thing, and she said, in that minute, I decided that I was going to be the one that got it at all costs. What if you decided to be like that? Fight like your life depended on this. It does, in the best way possible. In the best way possible, even in the middle of this pandemic. You can have a better quality life like we were talking about on Friday. You can experience the joy in life. You can have better relationships. You can be taking risks. Make this decision that you're going to be the one that gets it, and think about how different your odds are in that moment. Life is not happening to you. Life is not happening to you. You are a participant in your life. Take the reins, but don't take them to the scale, my love. Do not take them to the scale. The scale is a terrible God. It'll always let you down. That's why. I'm telling you. I weighed 153 pounds. It's like there's never a number that's going to make you happy. That's the problem with the scale. There is no number. But for those of us trying to get down to a healthy body weight, we also need to stay aware of where we are, because this thing can start to tell us lies, rational lies. Rationalize. Rational lies. So anyway, I've spoken enough to you, but I gotta tell you, man, this is not the way to control your life. M Spring Dawn, I'm so excited for you to read the book. I can hardly contain myself. I want to hear everything you think about it. So here's the thing. The scale is a terrible God. It can no longer be our guiding principle. Can you choose love? Love's a great guiding principle. Light's a good guiding principle. A scale, it will always let you down. This I promise you, my loves. This I promise you. So use it wisely. Use it wisely. All right. So anyway, really exciting things happening. We just launched this coaching program. You can, I think you can go on mollycarmel.com if you want to look more about it, but it'll be in an email to you tomorrow if you're on our email list. So you can sign up for our emails at mollycarmel.com. It's going to be so excited. Janice, it's so exciting that it inspired you to make big changes. That's the only reason. Carolyn is saying that she was struggling this weekend, but she held firm and she didn't cave and she kept fighting and she got through it. And let me tell you, Carolyn, as a therapist, you just did 10 years of therapy in one weekend. 10 years of therapy in one weekend. It's so about behavior. It is so about behavior. If you're not in our Facebook group, come on in. We miss you. We love you. We want to know you. The more the merrier. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful for this community. Anna is saying she's grateful. Anna has like 62 days. She's been abstinent for the entire quarantine. So it's incredible. So, okay, my loves, here we go. Hands on our hearts for closing the kitchen. Hands on our hearts for ourselves. Hands on our hearts for the CTK community. Hands on our hearts for those struggling with their food and weight issues. Big hands on hearts for that. So many people suffering and for all those suffering in the world. And we close the kitchen. And I'll do it again on Tuesday night, but let's see who's closing the kitchen tonight. Amy's closed the kitchen. Incredible. Incredible. Sam has closed the kitchen. Liz, thank you. Rose has closed the kitchen. Anna, closed the kitchen. Incredible. Rachel closed the kitchen. Lisa's closed the kitchen. Amazing. Roseanne, I love you. Closed the kitchen. Bernadette, good with a bakery. Adriana, Molly, Janet, loves Bird, Parkland, amazing. Oakland, amazing. Zachary, love you, love you. Sharon, Ted, love you. Good to see you, babe. Roseanne, Scarlett, M. Spring, Dawn, Janice, great. Sharon, Carol, Brenna, my love. Scarlett, Brenna, call your sponsor. Sherry, Susie, OG Mary, great. Randy, incredible. Carolyn, kitchen is so close. Mine too. Rosemary, day 17, amazing. Sharon, 17 days. I mean, doing this in a pandemic, you got it, girl. Jean Marie, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love you, Crystal, incredible. I love you. I'm thinking of you every minute of every day. I'm always here. I'm here rooting you on. Tomorrow is my day off, and I will see you all on Tuesday and on Wednesday. We do back-to-back Close the Kitchens Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You're awesome, Karina. I love you. I love you all. And I'll see you on Tuesday. Mwah.